Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Monday, May 20th, 2024. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action at the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart, which we have here in front of us right now. We also take a peek over there at the altcoin market while getting ready for the United States stock market to open up in the next minute, along with taking a look over there at precious metals like gold and silver and the DXY, or the US dollar currency index. Of course, we'll take a peek over there at any type of financial news going on out there today and any type of crypto news as we start off this week. You know, every day when I put together the thumbnail for Markets in the Morning, I changed the date. I just went through and realized I had the last couple of them wrong. But when I put in the 20th for today, I just couldn't believe it that we're already 20 days into May. And I still have to be real careful when I'm saying the date to start the month, to start it off and say, hey, today is May 20th, 2024. I'm still trying to get used to saying 2024, and we're already almost 5 months through the year. Anyway, side note, welcome to a new week. We've got some action going on out there in markets as we concluded last week. And as we start off this week, especially when futures opened last night, not a whole lot going on in the stock market as we get ready for it to open right now. The Dow is down 25 points, the NASDAQ is down 11. The S&P is up about 1 point, and the Russell is up 2 points. So everything within about 0.1% of being a flat opening in the United States stock market. But if you haven't noticed, of course, there's been a lot of action over there in precious metals. We've got silver sitting at 3160 right now, which is, of course, a breakout. Gold sitting there at 2417. Overnight, last night when futures opened, silver got as high as 3250. So these are the highest prices we've seen in 11 years for silver. We even saw a new all-time high get set there for gold. So quite a wild action happening over there in metals and commodities currently right now. Looks like as the stock market's opening up, we are flipping a little bit more to the green. The NASDAQ has flipped green now, and so has the S&P. So, okay, there you go. That's what it's looking like when we're kicking off this morning, but we'll dive into these charts, of course, and take a closer look at these things as we get going. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. We'll go ahead and dive on in. So Bitcoin sits at $67,000. So, of course, now Bitcoin is getting back into the retracement levels. Why are we blue? I know why we're blue. It's because of another chart I was building. We are getting back into the retracement levels here for Bitcoin. It's the $1 million question. It's the third range boundary. This is where people will take profits. This is where people will sell out and wait to see what the market does after that. So we'll see what comes of Bitcoin in here. We're going to hum along here. We're going to get our next move, or we're going to pull back in here. We're now getting very, very close. So we've now crossed over the 618 retracement, and the 702, if we should get there, would be about 68.5. Looking over there at total 3, still no break from this range. Just the brutally long range going on in here, taking forever. Still hoping that we can still get some upside in here because we still haven't seen expansion happen in this market just yet. But of course, it's what we are all cheering for. Looking back over the last 5-6 years in here, of course, we bounced off of our previous all-time high in here. We've come back and pinpoint nailed a 702 retracement, screaming that the sky was falling, and then we do, and then now it's just can we just make it so that this is a simple recovery and go off into expansion and hit that $5 trillion that Brad Garlinghouse is talking about. But the first step is we have to get into an actual real bull run and not just be in a retracement. So we still just continue to wait on that. And it has felt like a broken record. And I remember even saying weeks ago, being like, guys, it's going to sound like a broken record in here. You just say the same thing over and over again. Yeah, because we're just stuck in there. That range still continues to go. We still have not gotten an escape to happen here just yet. So we still, in the twilight zone of May, still continue to do that. The thing that was interesting, of course, March was really just kind of up only. April was really down only. May has at least been positive. We just haven't gotten that big pop yet to say, hey, May has been a great month just yet. As for XRP still sits in here. I was kind of playing around with it of what it was like back in 2017, 2016. We had a lot of similar things happening in the market at that time. Bitcoin was back at its all-time high at that time. XRP was the most undervalued versus the entire market cap of crypto at that time. Structurally, just kind of playing along with these things in here. We've of course gone through all the things of contraction triangles, and Elliott wave theory all throughout here. And that if we are in a moment of it getting ready to go, what would that really look like? I would still expect there's still another dip to come in here. And then hopefully we can see a solid recovery come out of here. Again, this thing, you can buy into all the narratives that you want throughout the entire universe to tell you that there's a flip of a switch, so global reserve currency, whatever it is that you want, it is dependent on this guy. So really, to get super optimistic about any particular assets, we really need to see the whole market expand. And that goes for even the ones that people are super bullish about, your things like your Solanas right now, right? Solana, the price went back and hit retracement levels, but has not exceeded through it yet because this market hasn't expanded. So that's the thing that we're still all just like grinding our teeth, waiting on to see if we can end up getting. And case is no different here for this one as well. If we can't get an expansion in here, we're not going to get any action out of here. So hopefully that's coming around the corner, but we're all still patiently waiting. Of course, as we do know at this time, we are very deep into this thing. For those, when I conducted a poll here a couple of months ago and asked, were you here prior to 2021? 2/3 of people were not. 2/3 of people came into the market in 2021, which of course means they came in at the top. But that's typically That's typically how it goes in markets, right? You don't come into them when they're boring and depressing because your friends aren't telling you, hey, dude, come join this cool thing. They're typically pulling you in when everything is exciting and it's making headlines over there on the news. It's normal. But this is the amount of time that we did elapse in 2018, 19, and 20 before things started to really get going. And so, of course, you say, do we have enough time? Is Bitcoin back at the all-time highs? Do we have structures? Do we have things that are similar? Yes. We just haven't gotten it yet. And so the fingers are crossed that we're going to have it soon. As for Ethereum, of course, you guys ask about it all the time. What did that super cycle look like in the past, right? This is what we dealt with back. This is what the original leg of the first leg of a super cycle for Ethereum had. And, we've seen 3 super cycles take place there for Bitcoin. And so we're still not acting unusual from what we should be acting like in here, where we've gotten back to in here. But the big thing still is expansion. And if we can get the expansion. So this is one of the ones I'm most optimistic on in the event that we do get expansion as well. As for precious metals, looking over there at metals, we'll come back to the stock market. Let's do the stock market first. Stock market, of course, as we all know, let's see, add this Fed funds. There you go. We've seen this happen multiple times where we get into these areas on these elevated Fed funds rates. These are the things we've talked about happening in here. So all eyes are on that right now. Again, no Fed rate cut has happened yet. That historically has been the marking point of gloom and doom coming. Do not be fooled by what your friendly content creator on Twitter tells you or on YouTube, that we're waiting for bullish rate cuts. There's no historical precedent for that in the QE era of the last 20 years to say that would be true. But as we have still remained paused, things have still remained okay. But of course, keep your eyes out for things like this right now in case things take a twist and turn. And, one of those things that, of course, that are very odd to see, of course, are those breakouts happening in silver, those breakouts that are happening over there in gold. Those are typically odd behaviors considering what we have seen happen in past expansions in markets. And remember, we haven't seen an expansion yet over there in crypto just yet. Bitcoin hasn't expanded yet either. So far, this is just like a glorified massive retrace that touched a new all-time high, but no expansion has happened for Bitcoin as of yet. It still is below the 2021 all-time high right now. But when we look at it from this aspect, of course, there was a run up, but it wasn't until gold started falling that we ended up having our bull run in crypto in 2021. So hopefully this thing can start to kind of chill itself out pretty soon. As you all know, I'm a big believer in gold. I'm an investor in gold, but it's not that I cheer for it. It's in the event of S hitting the fan, this is typically the place to be. And so far, It's very odd to see that it has been rising so well. But this is what your last Bitcoin bull runs all looked like. And so we're just waiting for this thing to be able to calm itself down. Otherwise, as for the stock market, Dow Jones now down 78. However, the NASDAQ is up 71 points. So looking over there, probably have a pretty big mix. Yeah, AMC is up. NVIDIA, GameStop, Roblox are all up. Coinbase, Tesla, United Health, ARK are down. I think I just saw a headline come through this morning within the last 30 minutes that the CEO of Grayscale is resigning. That's typically a bad sign when something like that happens, when your CEO steps down. So... Either way, Coinbase is down today. Yields are up. Indexes are mixed. You have S&P up, NASDAQ up. Dow is down. And of course, the Russell, same story, not expanding. Russell is down 79 points. Otherwise, we still just kind of sit here, ranging ourselves out throughout here, still waiting to see if we're going to get an expansion over here in this market. And as expected, like we talked about last week, that this would probably just still continue on. The expectations are not that this thing would go breaking out and go surging. Even if we got up in here, it still wouldn't seem like we would. It still seems like the best case scenario would be like a pullback happening in here. Then the $1 million question is do not let go of it at that point. But either way, gold up, silver at $31. I've been showing these things in here. Are we on the brink of the biggest silver run? I think the thing we could all cheer for is for silver to actually chill out. I know that's not the narrative of crypto. The narrative of crypto is buy gold and Bitcoin to protect yourself from the world falling apart, but that's not usually the case. Usually the case is buy gold, not buy Bitcoin. So we actually want to see gold and silver chill out for it to be a more positive impact on the cryptocurrency market. One of those things we've talked about a lot has been the reverse repo facility happening in there, and that it is all one big risk on trade for Bitcoin in the crypto market. You could see that clearly when the repo facility opened up back in April and May of 2021. That became the peak of Bitcoin. And then when the money started flowing out of the reverse repo facility, you could see the reversal in Bitcoin comes along with the United States stock market. Then as we hit this low right here and stop, what happens? Bitcoin stops at the same time. And still there's just been no real clear breakdown or breakup happening in here. You could see the velocity of it all coming in here. And then now we've stopped, right? We've just kind of chilled out here right now. Unlike this one, which still comes down and then just goes and sets a new low and then just keeps breaking down. Not this time, right? It's kind of chilling. And so we've still just been chilling in here as well. And that, of course, does not match the narrative, but we're not here to play narrative games. We're here to point to the data. And the data shows that as a reverse repo facility has chilled out, so has crypto and so has Bitcoin, right? So we'll keep our eyes on this to see if anything progresses with this. There's still $449 billion sitting over there in the reverse repo facility over there at the Fed. But otherwise, we just patiently await, right? Like if this thing starts going like this, yikes, right? But it hasn't happened yet. So we'll see how things go. This thing would probably do that in the event that the Fed raised a rate. Right? If the Fed raised an interest rate or signaled that they were going to continue raising rates and that cuts were absolutely not coming, that's probably where we would see that end up happening, right? So to understand what this is, right? This is people who, this banks, institutions, they park money over at the Fed and they can get about 0.25% below whatever the Fed funds rate is. And it's overnight lending. So they're not tied up into it like they would with like a 1-year treasury or a 5-year treasury or a 10-year treasury, which is what we saw happen when the banks kind of blew up there back in March of 2022, right? Was that March of 2022? It was right here, right? Was that March of 2023? Geez, that was just a year ago. Not having enough funds to be able to cover the losses that were accrued on the value of their treasuries. So they could park their money over here, right? So what happened? They bought a bunch of 10-year treasury yields, 5-year treasury yields, because the Fed was signaling to them that they were not going to be raising interest rates anytime soon. And then what, we're not even thinking about raising interest rates, right? They go buy a bunch of treasury yields that are only paying like 1%. and they get stuck in them. The Fed goes through a massive hiking cycle. It makes all of their treasuries worth a lot less because you can't sell them on the open market, with the fact that you can buy them for a lot cheaper on the open market. So parking money at the Fed, while you're getting 0.25% less than what you would with a US Treasury, you're only stuck for one day. You can take your money in and out whenever you want. And so we've seen the money drain out of there as the market anticipated that the Fed would be paused and not raising anymore, right? So as the market became confident that the Fed was not going to be raising rates anymore, they didn't feel the necessity to have to leave the money parked over here at the Fed any longer, right? So if the Fed decides, hey, we're going to raise rates again, you'd probably see this pull up again, and you see doom down, right? But we don't have signals of that yet. Of course, there's a lot of mixed opinions and feelings on what the Fed is going to do. Right now, it's at a 96% probability that on the June 12th meeting, the Fed will still remain paused. Looking ahead, it doesn't look like the market has anything priced in until a 76% probability that there would be a cut come the September meeting. Again, you got to kind of take that with a grain of salt. That is what? 4 months from now. Just 4 months ago, the market had priced in 6 rate cuts during 2024. So a lot of things can change between now and then. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, we still sit here, of course, like we talked about last week. I have not checked to see if Roaring Kitty has posted today. I doubt he has. It seems like he did like an ET thing at the end of last week to be like, that's it, I'm leaving, I'm gone. Let's go check it out. That, of course, sent off a spark of retail excitement. Yeah, nothing new since last week. We'll see if that can continue. Of course, we've done all the analysis and shown on-chain how the behavior, the profit-taking, the extreme euphoria, all the things that happened in Bitcoin in here are the same things that happened in January of 2021, along with the altcoin market also reaching back to its retracement levels at that same time. It was having to leave these areas in order to get the altcoin market to actually be able to expand. The thing that, of course, will confuse the market and the participants in the market is the belief that we are just at the all-time high. This is just the beginning, but on chain, it shows that we are significantly further along in the cryptocurrency market currently right now than at that time. And we can see things starting to emerge in other ways too, not just the altcoin market reaching its retrace levels at the same time, but even some retail euphoria starting to emerge back into the market as well. So, as we said here, we get back to those retracement levels again. $1 million question: how are we going to behave from the third range boundary? Everybody wants the answer. You said this, you said that. We're at the third range boundary. It's up to you to make your own decisions and do whatever the heck you want to do from here. If you think it's just going to pull back and then continue to go, or if you think it's going to collapse from there, if you think it's going to break out from there. This is the most common place where we see rejections come in at, is back at third range boundaries. Nobody believed it back here. We did end up getting it pinpoint on the dot. So, we got to get through that moment. Now it's going to be the fingernail biting time as we are back at it currently. Almost, not quite, but close. And we just cannot get out of this thing. So hopefully that can come sometime soon. And we're just kind of all waiting on that. And just how many times are we going to say that? How long have we been in here? A month and 8 days. A month and 8 days of that. Hopefully we can get a resolution sometime soon. Either way, the big story I think has really been metals, and hopefully metals can chill themselves out too. But for those who are like silver and gold people, as I am, that was a long-awaited move to happen. That took 4 years for that to happen. Finally, a little bit of something. So, all right, there you go. That's how we're starting off our week. We're almost back at retracement levels now for Bitcoin. You can see in the January and February version of it, what we did do, we got back to them, and then we pulled all the way back down again, which in that circumstance was right around $60,000. So we'll see if that ends up being our case. As we all know, we're getting really close time-wise for how long this thing has been going on for, and hopefully something resolves itself soon. So, all right, there you go. Now, on that note of it being May 20th, we are pretty much almost at the summertime. And so I've been talking a lot about it with my family. And so little announcement and little change to the channel during the months of June, July, and August. Are you all ready? It'll make some people upset. It'll make some people happy, but it is what it is. We're going to be moving more towards videos again during the summer, which means we're going to be cutting back the numbers of markets in the morning. And that way, I will be able to make videos and go on vacations with my family. So all these things I've been doing for the last several months have all been work related, whether it's going to Australia or it's going to Las Vegas or I think there's been 2 others, it feels like. And then this month going to Consensus, and it's just all work related. But during the summer, the plan is to actually become way more focused on videos. It's just nearly impossible to do them all while we do markets in the morning. You guys don't know this, but markets in the morning actually consumes about 4 to 5 hours of my day. And by the time that's done, it's very difficult to go through and put together a video. And then at the same time, during the summer, being like, hey, we're going to be gone for these days. We're going to be gone for these days. We're going to be gone for these days. So we are going to maintain. Michael McFarland, please don't leave. I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving you. I'll be here every day, Monday through Friday, every day. This is not going to be with markets in the morning. Markets in the morning is going to be Wednesdays, and that will start in June. I'm going to have kids here in the house the whole summer. I'm going to try to give them more of my attention during the summer. And then, we'll get right back to things when school goes back in session. But otherwise, we'll be expecting videos on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And we'll do markets in the mornings there on Wednesdays. Then the various live streams here and there. But really during the summer, being way more centric and focused on putting out videos rather than so many live streams. So I know this is a very big part of many of your days that you show up right on time. You probably drive to work. You put it on. It comes on at a specific time. And this was a lot of consideration and a lot of thought to go into that on whether it would, how to handle it all for my summer that is coming up and how I can balance it all. And the balance will be getting back to being much more of a video YouTube channel during the summer rather than a live stream YouTube channel. For the first 3 years of this channel, it was really just videos and 0 live streams. I think in the first 3 years, I did 30 live streams total. And now in the last year and a half, I think I've done over 200. So it's been very live stream focused, and it's a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, and you guys are a part of my day. But during the summer, it's going to, I had to balance a lot of different things on how I was going to handle time with the kids. And then, you guys have been around a long time. My daughter is getting older. I think she's tired of sitting around all day. And so with videos, I can really manage my time a whole lot better, and I can manage vacations a whole lot better with videos. So starting in June, we will have markets in the morning on Wednesdays, and then we'll have videos on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So I'm not going anywhere. It's just the formatting of the content that will be produced on each particular day will be different. So, and we'll see how it goes. So, okay, there you go. All right. Bitcoin, 67,150. Oh, and then let me make this announcement too. There will be no markets in the morning on May 29th, 30th, or 31st, because I will be doing Consensus. So, I'm going to go meet those developer report guys. I'm going to see what's going on. But that was I no way thought going to Consensus last year would have such a dramatic impact on my life moving forward, but it sure did. And so I'm looking forward to going to this one again this year as well. So that will be at the end of next week. Otherwise, we'll be here all week. And we'll have markets in the morning all week this week too, guys. So nothing changes there. But okay, there we go. That's what we're kicking off the week right now. $67,000 there for Bitcoin. Still waiting to see if we can get a breakup happening over here in the altcoin market. Of course, looking for a big move up and then praying for the expansion. You know, when you get back to the third range boundary, remember again, is still third range boundary. If you want to make decisions, you make decisions. What you do when you get there. But hopefully we can get our way out. So, all right, there you go. That covers all of it in there. And our time is hopefully near. And hopefully it's not a cruel summer this year. Last year, if you guys remember, last year when we went into it, we had the expectation of cruel summer. If these things, and that's because of, if we go back and watch the videos, let's go find this. I can't do it on here. I can do it on here, right? We knew going into it, right in here, that this typically manifests an ABC out of here. So you could see before we ever even got into the cruel summer, the expectation was actually that there was going to be this ABC that was going to drag out of here and create a cruel summer. So that was not, yeah, and part of me was kind of like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a Taylor Swift reference here and not tell anybody that's what I'm doing. But at the same time, no, like, you know, summers tend to be a drag. There's a couple of rare circumstances where they're not a drag. This was just our setup at the time. We had already done crashing structure. We'd already done the capitulation where you set the two little blips down in there. But we typically go into that ABC afterwards, which is like what we had. I'll show you other examples of it. It's like being in here, right? We knew we had capitulated. We knew we had already completed it, right? And so like, here's the two blips, right? Blip, blip, right? Up. And this is from 2018. And notice this is not the summer. But we knew there was an ABC coming after that, right? But the problem was with how big the range was for the market at that time, that the ABC would last a lot longer, and hence a cruel summer on the way. You know, that if this thing goes like this, yeah, we probably got a cruel summer ahead, right? But in the event that it's not, and in the event that we do get our breakup, it would indicate that summer probably is a non-event situation in here. And if we're able to get up in here, even in these types of circumstances, this would not last all summer. We'd still be marching on our way up very quickly. So my thoughts aren't necessarily that we have a cruel summer ahead of us, as long as if we can just get one thing to happen. If you can get that to happen, I don't care what we do in here. I will not expect that we're going to be having a cruel summer ahead of us at this time. So yeah, I don't remember why I was going in that direction. But anyway, yeah, that's what my thoughts are currently right now. So hopefully that break can actually end up coming, because we have been very patient. Very patient. Ethereum, silver, Dow back to 40K. So Dow has recovered now after a move earlier this morning. Now NASDAQ's up 111 points. So NASDAQ is coming in for a recovery in here. GameStop back into the red. Let's see if Senor... what is a cat? I can't remember. I don't know. Roaring Kitty's nowhere to be found. Okay, there you go. I think we've covered it all. We're all still just patiently waiting. The thing that is to note is that Bitcoin is getting back to its retracement levels. Solana is near its retracement levels as well. So those who are big into Solana, I'm not here to fudge your bags in any way. I'm not here to do that, but I'll just point that out to you, that you're getting very close to being near your third range boundary. So for those who are big Solana people, kind of know where you are. That's where you are. There's the big move down, and then now you're back near your third range boundary. So do whatever you want, but just kind of know where you are. Solana, fortunately, has been kind of one of the ones that hopefully is giving us a lead on what's going on in the market. The thing about Solana, of course, just to take into consideration, not fudding your bags, just take it into consideration. Solana is one of the ones that got back to retracement levels, right? So that's a nice big retrace that has happened in here. And now Solana is now within the third range boundary of its third range boundary. So keep that in mind for those who are Solana people. Okay, there we go. Cameron Vaughn says Ethereum ETF approvals start this week. You know, that's going to be an interesting one. You know, I was reading an article this weekend that, you know, let me post this. Let me do this really fast. Ask the audience, start a poll, add option. Chance of Ethereum ETF approved this week. We'll do 25%. 50, nobody's going to put 100%. So we'll go with like 10%, 30%, 50%, 75%. All right. Run that poll there for just a second. So I believe by the 23rd, there's a deadline that the SEC has to respond to the ETFs that have been filed for Ethereum. And we're supposed to have an answer on that. Currently, out of the poll that I've conducted, we're at 170, 180 votes. Keep it going, guys. Keep it going. What do you think the chances are? I put in there 10%, 30%, 50%, 75% chance that the Ethereum ETF gets approved this week. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Even the lurkers, come on. Look at your chat. Look at your chat. Go answer. Once we get to 350 votes, I'll go over the results. We're at 275 votes right now. Juber says, how would we know? Right. So that's pretty much what the market always talks about, right? The market says, there's a good chance of it happening. There's not a good chance of it happening. If the market thought there was a really good chance of it happening, don't you think they'd be front running it? Or if there's not a good chance, they would say, sell it. There's no point. It's not going to get approved, right? All right. So we are now at 400 votes, right? So the most popular answer was a 10% chance that the Ethereum ETF gets approved, with 58% of people saying it's a 10% chance. 20% of people said that there's a 30% chance that the ETF gets approved, while 12% said there's a 50% chance, and 10% said there's a 75% chance. So the overwhelming bias is that there's not going to be an ETF approval this week. If you were to ask like Eric Berchalis, I think is his name, over there on Twitter, he kind of made himself pretty popular in the crypto community during the Bitcoin ETF stuff. He puts it at a slim to none chance, right? Coinbase came out and they said, you know, the market has really priced it in that there's really not a chance of this Ethereum ETF getting approved. That the market like pretty much puts a probability on it of being like a 6 to 7% chance that the ETF is actually going to end up getting approved. But that Coinbase believes there's actually a closer to 34 to 40% probability that the ETF would end up getting approved. And if it does, that the market is entirely wrong-footed on their positioning within the market in the event that it actually would, and that the market is likely wrong on at least the odds that it has placed it on. Fact is, like 2 out of 3 people here in the chat even say there's a 10% chance that it's going to get approved. So the sentiment is overwhelmingly it's not going to get approved. Big question is, you know, if we get to that moment in time, is the market wrong-footed either way, right? So the market hits, you know, that's, you know, buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Like you're expecting a really positive event to happen. So what do? You buy anticipating that event to happen, right? Buy the rumor. And then what happens when the event occurs? You sell the news, right? Boom. You took the ride. You're good. Now it's happened. Okay, sell it. You're out. But the opposite effect happening in here, right? That it's a sell the rumor, right? It's not going to get approved, right? So even in the event that it doesn't get approved, well, the market's already priced that in, right? And so would it be a sell the rumor, buy the news thing, even if it doesn't get approved? And then was it a sell the rumor? And then what if it does get approved? then it's like, oh gosh, the whole market's completely wrong-footed at that point, right? And I don't know that to be true. I'm not in any way an ETF expert. I think we should all know that by now. But it's an interesting. It was an interesting thing for Coinbase to say that they said they think the market is entirely wrong on how they've priced it and the probabilities of it happening. That they think there's only a 6 to 7% probability that it's going to get approved, and realistically, it's more like a 30 to 40% chance, and that people haven't positioned properly in the event that it actually did. Don't know, or I don't know, but that was interesting to see. And either way, we will find out those answers this week, it seems like, right? So we'll see. But okay, there you go. 67K for Bitcoin, 3,100 for Ethereum, 51 cents for XRP. Solana back at its third range boundaries up in here. Total market cap waiting for the gloriousness of at least being able to start scooting our way out of this range, as we are all just range beaten at this point. Hopefully that can come sometime soon. Otherwise, really the bigger things happening over there in the markets is you do have these higher prices happening over here in the NASDAQ. Of course, again, this still just continues to be extreme consolidation amongst a select group of assets. We still have the Russell that is just not participating in this market. As GameStop still continues to not be able to do anything this week after the crazy week of Roaring Kitty. The big madness that did take place throughout the week, though, of course, was precious metals. And gold sets another little high right over here. But the bigger one that happened last week and continued into futures was that, silver escaped from a 4-year range. And even last night in futures set another new all-time high. And technically, we're in an all-time high compared to last Friday. Last Friday, it closed at 31.499, 31.499. We're at 31.575. Another random piece of news that's interesting. Is it interesting? I don't really know. I always say this whenever we talk geopolitical stuff. I don't know the implications of geopolitical stuff. I don't know if it's timed. I don't know if it's 3D chess, 5D chess, whatever it is. The timings of when those things end up happening. Of course, we've seen this big breakout happening in here. I don't know what it means geopolitically. There's going to be 30,000 people who are going to chime in who say that they understand it. They can read it all. The president of Iran did die in a helicopter crash yesterday, and once the helicopter was found and it was determined that he was dead, the price of silver did reverse. Weird. But yeah, that's what happened. Once the helicopter was found, once he was pronounced dead, the price of silver reversed. And yeah, that's odd. But there you go. All right, so that's how we're kicking off our week, guys. We're getting back near the retraces of this long range here for Bitcoin. We're waiting to see if we can get an escape of the range here for the altcoin market. Again, even an escape in here for me isn't going to get me hooting and hollering that we're in full-blown breakout just yet. But it would just be nice to at least get above the top of it. After what we said at the beginning of the stream, we've been in here for a month and 8 days. That can emotionally and mentally beat people up. You just get tired of it. I sympathize with it. I hear you. Even difficult as a content creator in these time periods, because I'm coming on having to reiterate that same thing. Here we are stuck in a range. Nobody wants to hear it. I don't want to say it. It is what it is. As for Ethereum, we'll see what happens with that in regards to the ETF resolution to at least the first proposed ones. We should be hearing an answer sometime, I believe on the 23rd. So I guess it's Thursday, I think. May want to double check that. When are we? I don't want to give you false information. When is the Ethereum ETF deadline? May 23rd. So that is Thursday. So Thursday, we're supposed to have answers on that. The massive expectations of the market are that it will get denied by the SEC. And again, even with Coinbase's expectations of a 30 to 40% probability of approval, what does that mean? They still think it's a 60 to 70% chance that it will get denied as well. So don't be mistaken. It is the odds are in your favor. The odds are worse than flipping a coin, right? So we'll see how that ends up going. Otherwise, that's how we're looking going into the day. Metals up, Dow flat, NASDAQ up, GameStop cooled off from last week's Roaring Kitty debacle. Crypto's still in the range. Bitcoin back to near the 702 Fibonacci retracement level. And we're all just patiently waiting. King Bones says, hey, based on the Ethereum fractal, why won't XRP explode to 50? Because XRP is 50 cents. No. The reality is just even XRP getting into an even expansion at this point. We don't know if Ethereum is going to escape here. In order for this to happen, this would have to be a monster bull run in the cryptocurrency market. I know people don't like hearing that. You are not in a bull run in crypto yet. This is a glorified retracement that has happened in crypto at this point, and a rejection at the retracement levels in crypto, right? So this is not a bull run yet. And we have work that we have to do for it to end up being one. So if we get out of here and we get moving, hip, hip, hooray. But I know that people constantly want to hear over $20 XRP, $50 XRP. Guys, in the last 6 years, we haven't gotten over 2. If we get to 9, it's like, holy cow. It's insane. Right? So I just can't humor. It's hard for me to humor a lot of it just mathematically beyond that. It's just real hard. What's the market cap of a $50 XRP? That's 2 times the market cap of Bitcoin right now, I believe, right? I think I saw Dirk post that if XRP got to the exact same market cap of Bitcoin right now, it would be $23 per XRP. So if you got to $50 per XRP, you'd be 2 times the market cap of Bitcoin. It's going to be hard to see that just from out, how sustained could a speculation pump last, right? And the element that's really missing that I've been trying to highlight for the last couple of weeks and really 8 months, and I'm not gonna go into it too deep in here, is network effects that happen on these cryptocurrencies. It's way more than just sitting around and building secrets upon secrets. It's about users actually using, builders actually building. And there being demand for the token to be utilized within a network by the users to participate within the network activities. Our user activities are very low. So trying to figure out, how sustained it could be outside of speculation or how short-lived it could be. It's just 4.236 extension on the market cap. You'll see me hooting and hollering and saying that was the biggest victory in the history of the universe, and I'll be more than happy at that price. If we got to $9, $10, something like that, right? Anything else on top of that would be just a massive shock, massive surprise, and I would take it. But I would celebrate all day if we got $9. Free Kip says very low, more like abysmal. Yeah, it's like non-existent. No, I'm not burned out, brother. XRP 123. I've been here a long time, bro. It's not about burned out. Maybe I'm just disappointed in that. That's taking forever. I think that we could get the resolution in this week. There's not a lot to talk about in the markets right now. I think we all can see that, right? There's not much to say right here, right now. But that could change in the blink of an eye. You could get one little candle to pop out right here, and then suddenly, boom, we've got something to talk about. Now we're talking about building supports on top of ranges, all that stuff. We're just sideways right now. I've been doing this long enough to not get burned out. That's the good part about, and that's the thing about doing something you enjoy doing. If you haven't done that yet. And it's very difficult. I always talk about that, how grateful I am and how lucky I am to be in the position that I am in. That not only is there over 200,000 subscribers on the channel, not only is there over 2,000 people tuning into my live streams and supporting me and giving me words of encouragement and getting to shake hands and take pictures with people, and how rewarding all of that is. I actually get to do something I enjoy doing, and most people don't get to do that. And I didn't get to do that for the first, 2/3 of my working career. I had to work in corporate jobs. I've done physical labor. I've done several odds and ends and lots of things when we were going through the great financial crisis just to survive. But it's very rare that you ever get to actually do something that you really enjoy doing And the thing that ended up getting me down the path to be able to do the things that I enjoy doing is I kind of sacrificed a lot at a particular point of time in my life, where like I sold my house and like minimized down drastically to reset myself and reset my life at one point in time, because I didn't like the trajectory it was going in. And I mean, who would get mad at having a corporate job with great health insurance and job security and vacation time? All that sounds wonderful and lovely and stuff, right? But I was totally miserable. I hated doing it, and it wasn't for me. And then I got to, fortunately, by minimalizing down and sacrificing all my nice things to just have my family, I got to really more focus on what did I really want to do. And so I'm very, very blessed to get to do what I enjoy doing. And it's almost an obsession. It's almost what am I talking about? It's a full-blown obsession and addiction. When I wake up in the morning, what's the first thing I do? I'm looking at charts in bed. My wife's up moving around. I'm looking at charts. What am I doing when I go to bed? My wife is sleeping. I'm looking at charts. So I'm eternally blessed to be where I am, for sure. All right, well, hop into the chat, guys. That's just really what's going on. We're back at retracement levels here for Bitcoin, and we're waiting to see if we can get a break out of the range here for the altcoin market. All right, moving on. Paul Christensen, new member. Welcome, brother. Andy Philpott gifted 5 BCB memberships before we even started. Brother, thank you very much. And Pat gifted 10, man. Thank you, Pat. Cody says, what are your thoughts on the XRP Unleashed Docuseries being released? It seems like it could give us a nice pop at just the right time. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. One, I don't really know everything in it. I don't know what the message is going to be about. I don't know what the overall theme and picture that's going to be painted by it is. So I really don't know what to think about it. If I imagined, right, if I was like creative in my own head, and you have to be careful with these types of thoughts, right? Because like I build a fantasy in my head. If I built this fantasy in my head of what it would be like if it's actually effective and it's good, and it like comes at just the right time, where like if retail is acting bonkers, if the market reaches into expansion, and if we had like all the elements in there of like the crypto looks good, crypto looks strong, and the trajectory that sentiment is going in towards people like Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler, and if that comes out at just the right time, could it make XRP the SEC F Elizabeth Warren style movement if the Docuseries is powerful enough to do that? Right. That's like the fantasy in my head, right? But again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know what's in it, and I don't know what type of narrative is being painted in it. I hope it is not a docuseries. It is just there to bash Ethereum. We haven't gotten ourselves anywhere as a community by doing any of that, so I'm praying that's not what it's about. And I'm hoping it's more of a positive thing for us rather than continuing to fight against other ecosystems. Chris Merrill says, I had a friend of me tell me this weekend that he bought crypto for the first time in his life. All altcoins. It might be an indicator. Nah. Just one person telling you. Nah. TikTok's being made. Easy, free money. That's your indicator. People who are violently angry at discussions of price going down at retracement levels. That's your indicator. Okay. Let's see. MechMB says, hey, BCB, can you be contacted by X
Yeah, but I got lots of people who try to contact me. I just never know what people want. People want lots of different things. My inbox is littered with, you can try to do the right thing out there. There's always going to be critics, though. But I mean, like, one thing I don't have sponsors. That's why I can say whatever I want. And my inbox is just littered with, hey, how much does it cost for you to talk about our token? Hey, how much does it cost for promotions on your channel? How much is it this to be a coal? Which I still don't technically know what a coal is. I just assume a coal means shilling an altcoin and getting paid for it, but I don't know if there's actually a different term for what a coal is. It's KOL. I figured that's just what that is, getting paid to talk about an altcoin. But yeah, that's why it's hard for me to go through like my unread inbox because it's all day, every day. We'll pay you money. Yeah, free cap, a KOL. I don't know what it is. I assume it's just get paid to talk about altcoin. But yeah, Andy, thank you very much for the 10 memberships, brother. And McKenby, yeah. Carl, a Fable, hey BCB, thank you for deciding to do Markets this morning on Wednesday during the summer. My Wednesdays are horrible without your stream and the frog song. I wish I were kidding. Look, I know the frog is important to a lot of people. I do not care that we lose 200 people every single time we play the frog, because when I go to events, I'm told way too much how important of a part of their week that is. BCB create a fund. I will dump cash and bro. No, I'm not interested. Oh, by the way, I also do not have paid groups. I need to talk about that. I don't have paid Discords. I don't have paid Telegrams. I don't have paid Twitter stuff. I had to retweet that throughout the weekend or late last week. The new scam being run out there over there on Twitter is like BCB private group. It's not me, man. Not me. I don't have a private group. Me Jules Company says, did GameStop signal a run prior to Kitty's tweet? My thoughts are it did. My thoughts are that he showed up right when the signal was actually already being thrown. One, there were two things that showed up in here. Oh my gosh. One, you'd gotten to support, right? Two, here's the volume. Okay. Boom. Sudden spike in volume. Right here. This is all before the Roaring Kitty tweets. That volume came in off the support level. Then Roaring Kitty. So like all this volume right here happened before he tweeted. And like look through 2024. This is back into December of 2023. Look at the volume of GameStop all through 2024. Then all this volume shows up in here, then Roaring Kitty. So not only did it get some support, there was a sign of volume. Let me see if we can hide these. We'll hide the earnings reports. Hide earnings. And we'll do replay. So like you were just seeing a little bit of volume showing up right in here, right off the lows, right? And it also set this first high right in here. And then Sunday comes and Monday. And he tweets and does the tweeting all week long. So kinda. Gator, Wingstop wings really are horrible. They are, man. They are. Good morning, BCB. Why is trading, it says Larry, why is trading on Solana, specifically cat coins, a big thing? It's not just cat coins, man. It's like dogs, too, like dog with hat, right? Is it because transaction fees are cheaper there? Well, one, the chain is fast. Two, the transactions are cheap. And three, it's a different style community over there. It's people who are willing to take those kind of risks and play in those kinds of games. And there's a lot more culture over there in Solana. And I talked about this when the bottom of Solana came in back in 2022, that something that got me to actually buy the bottom of Solana was that, one, it looked like the Ethereum chart. It was acting just like Ethereum did at its bottom back in 2018. And that it was like the same percentages. This 97% crash was just like Ethereum's was at the time. But what was fascinating to me is that regardless of this happening in here, and regardless of that, FTX has collapsed, and how tied to it Sam Bankman-Fried was, in all that, they were still holding these Twitter spaces. They still had 700 to 800 people sitting in these Twitter spaces in the depths of the worst of it all. And if you don't remember, Solana was a laughing stock. Everybody was making fun of it at that time. It was a very dark place for Solana at that point. And I noticed that like the crowd was all very anti-Solana at that time and mocking Solana. The big YouTube channels mocking Solana. But they were still doing their Twitter spaces, and they still had all this culture in them, and positive energy and active energy. And I think that's different from other assets. I think you have a different set of people who partake in Solana, and it attracts the gambler, right? So the gambler, rather than the investor, likes to play in Solana a little bit more. I don't know, nothing wrong with that. Honestly, one of the best use cases for crypto is gambling. It's proven to be very successful, and so I think it attracts that. But it's not cats, man. It's everything. You can go check the deck screener. Every name of everything. Include the words AI, gaming, dog. It'll all do well. I remember the last time we had a meme, maybe it was two meme cycles ago. It was food, man. It was burgers. It was French fries. Dude, it is whatever is the topic at the time. Like, oh my gosh, that one has an Asian cuisine in it. That one's definitely going to the moon. You know, just whatever it is, right? So, this is super bullish because it has a cat in it. I don't know. Cats probably will not be cool next time. Bearish on cats. But yeah, ease of use, easy access. But yeah, King Bones had asked why won't XRP go to $50 if Ethereum's going up that high, which we don't even know if Ethereum is. We don't even know if Ethereum's going to end up expanding in here. As so long as it does, hey, great. If it wants to go way up there, then hey, you can probably improve your odds of exceeding a 4.236 extension. But I'm not betting on it. I'll take a massive, massive chunk of my XRP off the table if we ever get into the $7, $8, $9, $10 area. Massive chunk. And then at that time, everybody can hate me. You don't know anything. That's okay. I'll probably just go private at that time. All right. Evan says I'll keep 20 to 30%. That's my mindset too. I'll keep 20 to 30% and just lock it away and not care about it. Okay, there we go. We're at 59 minutes. We made it. Hip, hip, hooray. I hope that you guys had a great week. As of right now, Bitcoin is now getting right back near the retracement levels. Solana is getting back near its third range boundary here. So, moment of truth for Solana. Ethereum ETF decisions on the 23rd. Market has priced it in massively that it will not get approved. So people have sold the rumor. Coinbase says it's a 30 to 40% chance. Even here in the chat, 60% of people said it's a 10% chance. That's what the market has priced in as well, something like a 67% probability that it gets approved. Have we seen a sell the rumor, buy the news event? We'll find out. And what do we do if it actually does get approved? Holy cow, what do we do even then? As for silver and gold and metals, they've been having obviously a very strong week. GameStop, not so much. Here, that's not correct. Now that's correct. Roaring Kitty showed up and had a wild week and has not returned. He finished it off with ET, saying goodbye to ET as ET got into the space shuttle and left. He has not tweeted since. Otherwise, we'll check in on all this stuff tomorrow. We'll see how we do. The NASDAQ is up. The S&P is up. The Dow is up 43 points. The Russell's up 4 points. Gator says, hasta mañana. Everybody, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want, you could check out over here. Check out the newsletter over there on Substack. It's got all the recordings and everything in there. 25 minutes on that last one. You can get all types of research and all types of good stuff in here. And of course, just listen to my silky smooth voice as you walk around doing your stuff, or there's a lot of guys here driving their trucks. You can check out bcbacker.com to get 40 videos and 11 plus hours of content from me. And I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Night Shift says, hey, go back to the 20 days and grab that ranging time frame to include the range breakup and compare it to this cycle range at the 50 cent area. 20 cent days. You talking about this one? No, I don't think they're exactly the same. I mean, you have crash, right? And that's the thing I've been looking for in here too. Like, are we kind of early here on like a crashing structure, right? Is this like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and then end up going? Indifferent. I don't think it is. I don't think it is due to the level of that liquidation that we've already kind of gone as deep as we could go. But I don't think those are the same. I don't think those are the same. Just don't believe them to be. Not like this. But all right, Night Shift, 8 months. Thank you guys. All right, here we go, guys. Boom, boom. That's it. Have a wonderful Monday. Thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't liked the video yet, please like the live stream. It's the #1 way to support the channel. Otherwise, guys, I'll check in with you soon. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like the live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.